Watching the news broadcaster daily and following are today's highlights.
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng begins visit to Cuba. National Assembly Standing Committee convenes 7th session. Why exports increase following sluggish months?
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng has said Vietnam attaches a great deal of importance to fostering its solidarity, friendship, mutual trust, and comprehensive cooperation with Cuba.
Trọng stated this during his talks with the first Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba's Central Committee and President of the Cuban State Council and the Council of Ministers, Raúl Castro Ruz, in Havana on April 9th. The talks took place following a state welcome ceremony given to General Secretary Trọng. President Raúl congratulated the Vietnamese people on their remarkable achievements and said that under the sound leadership of the Communist Party of Vietnam, he was sure they would successfully carry out the resolution of the 11th Party Congress. Both leaders emphasized the importance of party building, personnel training, reforms, and creativity during the process of building up socialism in each country. They stressed on the need to develop economic trade and investment cooperation to a level on par with their political relationship and take advantage of the potential of both countries. They agreed to enhance the operations of the Vietnam-Cuba Intergovernmental Committee and look at suitable areas of cooperation to improve efficiency and sustainability of economic and trade ties. They will also create the best possible conditions for the business communities of both countries to step up investment and cooperation to make the most of their strengths and potential.
The National Assembly's Standing Committee met for its 7th session in Hanoi on April 10th. The event took place under the chair of National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng.
Addressing the opening ceremony, Chairman Hùng said, during the session, the participants will discuss 13 draft laws, including the law on Vietnam's seas, the law on national reserves, the revised law on water resources, and the revised law on publishing. The delegates will then work out a legislative program for the National Assembly in 2013. They will also review the progress of the 2011 Plan for Socio-Economic Development and put forward proposals for the country's economic restructuring.
National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng has asked new Vietnamese ambassadors and consuls general to promote bilateral and multilateral cooperation programs for national construction and development.
Hùng made the request at a reception held for 19 newly appointed ambassadors and 6 newly appointed consuls general in Hanoi on April 9. The chief legislator congratulated Vietnamese ambassadors and chief representatives overseas, adding that their role is something to be proud of as well as a heavy task requiring diplomatic cadres to unceasingly exert their best to serve the nation's interests. He added, the success of external activities helps raise the country's position in the international arena and has direct impacts on the country's socio-economic development. He also emphasized the important role played by the diplomats in planning and designing socio-economic development policies and ensuring defense security in the country. Hùng asked the ambassadors and consuls general to pay more attention to the establishment of parliamentary relations, create an effective parliamentary external channel, and further boost the development of people-to-people relations. For their part, the ambassadors and consuls general promised to do their best to further contribute to national industrialization and modernization.
Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc arrived in Australia's capital city, Canberra, on April 9th. This is the first official visit to the country by a Vietnamese leader since Vietnam and Australia signed their Comprehensive Cooperation Treaty in 2010.
The visit will enhance the comprehensive relationship the two countries have already established. It will mainly focus on Australia's experiences in combating prostitution, drugs, and HIV/AIDS. During his visit, Deputy Prime Minister Phúc will hold talks with Australia's Deputy Prime Minister and Chancellor Wei Xuan and later meet with the Governor of New South Wales and Acting Governor-General Mary Bashir. Phúc will be present at the signing of extradition treaty between both countries, as well as a memorandum of understanding on stepping up links between Vietnam's Ministries of Justice and Australia's Attorney General. He will then witness an agreement for more cooperation in science and technology. The delegation will leave Australia for New Zealand on April the 14th.
The chairman of the People's Committee of Da Nang City, Văn Hữu Chiến, held a reception for British Ambassador Anthony Stokes in Da Nang on April 9th.
At the reception, Ambassador Stokes said his visit is to promote relations between Da Nang and the UK and to explore the city's investment environment, several key projects and the city's demand for investment. His visit will also focus on promoting education, as the UK and Da Nang have already signed an agreement on providing top-quality training for the city, he added. Chairman Chiến thanked the British ambassador for visiting and stated that Da Nang will support and facilitate UK businesses that are looking for investment and development opportunities in the city. He said he hopes that links between Da Nang and the UK will be stepped up, especially in trade and services, and the provision of top-quality human resources training.
Vietnam targets 2 million tons of rice exports in the second quarter of the year, with 650,000 tons to be exported this month, according to the Vietnam Food Association.
The association's members exported 1.08 million tonnes of rice for a free-on-board value of $529.8 million in the first quarter of this year. This was a fall of 41.19% in volume and 40.15% in value compared to the same period last year. The number of export contracts in the first 2 months of the year has fallen considerably compared to the same period last year. However, exports picked up in March, with export contracts increasing by 12% compared to March last year. Asian countries have been the main buyers of Vietnamese rice during this period. An increase in rice imports from China in the last few months has helped local exporters and is expected to remain high until the end of the year due to high demands.
The elegant beauty of áo dài, Vietnam's traditional long dress, will be honored with a special performance take place as part of the 2012 Huế Festival.
With the theme Lotus in the Fires, the show will be a combination of the lotus, which is on way to becoming the national flower. With nearly 20 designers from the length and breadth of the country and 150 models, the 90-minute show is expected to attract a large audience. Explaining why lotus was chosen as the major theme for the show, Minh Hạnh, a leading designer, said that the lotus is very familiar to Vietnamese people, especially those who live in Huế. The áo dài show will take place on the bank of the Huong Perfume River, where a huge conical hat made of leaves is also on display. Both are expected to become highlights of the Huế Festival.
And this is the end of the news today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.